To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Before I get into today's topic about not being able to live off-grid, I wanted to show you around a little bit. It's hard for me to figure out how to get you caught up on our day-to-day activities and still keep an interesting vlog. And I watch other vloggers living the homestead life or the off-grid life, and sometimes they deviate quite a bit. Of course, their videos are a lot longer than mine. I'm not a big fan of long videos. But this tree here, I got 3 of them. I got one here, and one here. They're oak. There's 3 oak over here that are dying or dead. And then there's one over there that is dead. And what has happened is they have gotten a condition called oak wilt. I'm not an expert on it, but I know it's very contagious to other oak. And I've been very concerned about these 3 trees. I really like having them here. They provide a lot of shade for the house. Of course, I got branches going over the house. I tried to cut a lot of those down when I was building it. I didn't get them all. That one there, I did pretty good, but I couldn't reach that one. So I do have some branches that are over the house. And I kept hoping that I wouldn't get the oak wilt. I was pretty sure I was going to, though. Well, sure enough, you come down here and you can see this tree right here has gotten it. Now, I knew this tree would get it because oak wilt is carried underground. When the root systems hit each other, they can pass it on to each other, or beetles can pass it on. And right here, I didn't notice this last spring, but right here I have a limb that you can see the woodpeckers are chipping into. I bet that's where the beetles got in at. You can see the oak wilt is kind of coming down the bark here, all the way down to there. Now, I don't mind cutting down trees. I'm getting better at it all the time, but it's a skill that, takes a lifetime to learn, and I don't have a lifetime of experience. And with these being so close to the house and so close to the drive and all that, I don't think I'm going to cut these down myself. So what I think I'm going to do is in the next year or so, I'm going to have to hire someone to come out and cut them, a professional. And I'm not going to have him take the wood. I'm going to keep the wood. That'll be cheaper. He doesn't even have to really cut it very well. He could top the tree and just lay the tree over, and then I can cut it up in pieces. But yeah, I'm not going to try to attempt this one on my own. These are too dangerous to try to do. That's something I got to start thinking about. I might give him a call and see what it would cost, just so I can get an idea. All right, and then we're going to come down here. And I've been telling you that I'm going to build a pole barn, or a lean-to. Sorry about the lighting, it's so difficult. Over here, and Carolyn wanted to clean it up. I was going to clean it up, but she wanted to clean it up. And man, she has made a ton of progress. I mean, this was all weeded up all the way over to here. And within a couple days, she's gotten it quite a bit cleaned up. The nice thing is she has found a stockpile of firewood, essentially, that is all dried out. So we've been having problems with firewood. Like right here at the end of the season, she found a bunch. So we can light the stove up in the morning time, let it burn down, and then again in the evening time, let it burn down, and it keeps the house warm all day. And so we'll be able to start the pole barn pretty soon. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about living off grid. I get comments all the time that says, for one reason or another, they can't live off grid. And I think the definition of off-grid living is what's causing the problem. Don't let your dream get in the way of actually doing your dream. A lot of people consider me not living off-grid because I have a power line running through my yard. That's not off-grid. Well, if I'd have just let the dream get in the way and say, okay, well, I can't have a power line because that's not off-grid, I would have never lived off-grid. It's just, I can't. But right underneath the power line, I'm kind of shoving it in the power company's face. Look at that. As a matter of fact, one time the power company came down and looked at one of the poles and he saw the solar panels. You could see, he was like, what, really? But yeah, I mean, isn't that neat? I put them right underneath the power line, just kind of like, in my own personal satisfaction. Look, dude, run your wire through my yard. I'm going to show you that I'm not going to buy it. No matter how hard you make me try. I guess I double talk myself. Sometimes I say, dream big. Spend small. That is a true statement. I'm going to build a pole barn, for example, but I'm not going to spend any money on it. I'm going to do it for free. I'm going to find free metal. I'm going to use cedar trees for the poles. I'm going to try to find free 2x6s. And if I don't find it all free, I'm going to find it very cheap. But on the other hand, I think a lot of people see this dream as, well, I got to have 40,000 acres. I got to be out in the middle of a mountaintop somewhere where nobody can get to me. And that's off-grid. I can assure you, if you're saying you can't live off-grid, it's because your dream is getting in the way of your dream. You got to downsize it. So the other day I was talking about Texas, and I'm sure that we have all already forgotten about Texas, and it was only a couple weeks ago that Texas had this huge snowstorm. Cold conditions, and they lost electricity right when they needed it most. They didn't have it. They didn't have generators because they didn't have any gasoline. And now there's huge bills coming out of the electric company. People are having to pay thousands of dollars for just a little bit of electric they used. And so we've already probably forgotten how important it is that we need to take this opportunity to live off-grid, or to start thinking about living off-grid. I said in previous videos, I'm not a prepper. It's just my lifestyle allows me to be prepared. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about, well, what am I going to do if it gets cold? So in this video, I was talking about how you could start living off-grid. But I never really saw anybody suggest that they were actually going to do it. And it's so inexpensive. You can live off-grid, at least for short periods of time. And I said to go get yourself an inverter. And I took you into the camper, our homemade camper right here. And I'm going to take you in it again, but I got to warn you, it's all messed up. I say it every time somebody complains, oh, it's messed up. We're converting this into a shed. And we started disassembling it and just stopped because it got so cold. But in here is my inverter, my batteries, my charge controller to my solar panels. So let the light adjust a little bit. And you'll hear the humming of the inverter right here. So, I don't know if you can see this, but right here, my solar panels are putting out 13.6 volts right now. It's early morning, and so it's starting to charge the batteries from the use last night. Now, of course, it's running. What's running right now is my refrigerator. So my refrigerator is pulling, well, 60 or 70 watts, but also got computers and phones hooked up to that. So, you know, you got to consider all that. But it tells you how many watts I'm pulling. And over here is my charge controller. Yeah, my charge controller is saying the solar panels are actually putting out 14 watts, 22 amps, so that's pretty good actually. This is an inverter, and this is what I was talking about to you in the last video. An inverter converts car batteries, you know, your car electricity. DC is what it's called. This is actually a marine and RV battery, lead acid, 12 volts, just like your car. And so I'm sending electricity from the battery to the inverter. This inverter costs $100, $80 or whatever at Walmart. And this inverter inverts batteries into AC electric, house electric, plug-in electric. I'm sure you can see here that I've got a little three-way plug. You can see this is what I'm using to power my house. This is my house electric right here. I got 1,000 watts of house electric. I'm getting to a point, so I want you to hang with me here, because in this last video I told you how you could actually live off grid, especially in an emergency situation, at least for a few minutes a day, where you actually have electricity when the power goes out. There's two types of inverters: true sine wave and modified sine wave. True sine wave is 60 hertz. It's nice and clean, no big deal. Don't worry about what it means. It just means it's really pure energy. This is dirty energy. It's all over the place, 50, 60, 70, 80, 40 hertz. It's all over the place. And so when you put electronics into it, which most modern day electronics are DC anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But back when they had tube TVs, remember those? My hair clippers, I can't use on this because my hair clippers require 60 hertz to go back and forth to clip. Well, when you're using 40, and it kind of gets all messed up, so you can't use it. But most of the things you plug into it you can use. Somebody said, oh, you can't use this on your refrigerator. Burn up your refrigerator. Well, I've had my refrigerator plugged into this inverter. Well, actually, I had another inverter, but this is a newer one. They're both modified. I don't buy pure sine wave inverters, but you can get these at Walmart for $80, 1,000 watts. And my refrigerator runs on it all day long, all night long, and I've never burned it up. How can you use this information? Well, this information I tried to explain to you in the last video. You can put this on your car, and you run an extension cord from your refrigerator to the front of this. You turn your car on, you gotta have your car on, and you can use this to power your refrigerator for 30 minutes to get things to refreeze. So now this is actually getting you started on living off-grid and being prepared so you're not in a serious situation for weeks on end like Texas. I hope I can inspire you to dream big and spend small. Thanks for watching.